So let me share with you a little different perspective on weight loss, because it's sort of the common thinking that if you just decrease your calories and you spend enough time in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. And there is some truth to that, no doubt. But I want to give you a little different perspective on this whole thing. And this has come from years of experience and from years of seeing people who actually wanted to lose weight, but they eat more and they still lose body fat. So it kind of goes against this traditional way of thinking. And I've got some different thoughts on this that I want to share with you. And let's even take a look at it from the other perspective, meaning if you're someone who eats too much food, right? Let's say you eat in an abundance for multiple days at a time, but you don't gain any weight and you don't get fatter. How can that be? Because there's been plenty of times in my life where I've eaten way more than I should for maybe even a week's time, and I know that I've put more than an excess of 3,500 calories in my body, and I haven't gained any weight. So what's going on here? Like, how can this be? How could it not happen this way? So I'm gonna give you kind of a framework here that I think is way more valuable than the just traditional, like, eat more calories, decrease your calories. Like, it's much, much more complicated than that when it comes to human physiology. So first thing I want you to know is you have a bunch of different systems in your body, right? You've got a cardiovascular system, you have a nervous system, you have a digestive system, you have an immune system, you have a musculoskeletal system, you have all these different systems, literally thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, depending on how detailed you want to get with the systems. And then you also have a fat storage system, right? So in other words, there are trillions of fat cells in our bodies, and they're like a bunch of little balloons. And those balloons can get bigger and they can also get smaller, right? Generally, the number of cells don't move too much. There's kind of some debate out there in the world of science, but we're just gonna make the assumption that, look, the cells, you're born with a certain number of cells, and those number of cells are always gonna be there. So the way that you get fatter, the only way that you can get fatter is by putting stuff into the cells, right? So if you imagine a cell, it's like a little balloon, right? So you've got this little balloon, and the balloon has a door on the front and it has a door on the back. Now, this is very simplistic, so bear with me, but if you imagine you got this balloon, the only way we can make this balloon bigger, the only way we can make you fatter is to open the front door and to put stuff in, right? But now, the only way to make someone skinnier is to open the door, imagine the back door, and to let stuff out, right? So if we want to make you skinnier, we need to pin down the front door, don't let anything in, and we need to let stuff out the back door, right? So no matter how many calories you eat, you could eat 10,000 calories in a day, but if none of that energy, if none of that food goes into the fat cell, then you will not be fatter. Will you be bigger? Maybe. And let me share with you what happens to the excess of calories. So if you eat an excess of calories and you're a very healthy person, your body can allocate those excess calories to other systems, right? So for example, if my body decided that it needed to build some more muscle tissue, it might take 3,000 calories and send it to my muscle cells to be able to grow, to build some more, do some protein synthesis, right? So it might actually send the excess as like a bonus to my muscles. Now, we could also send some of that excess into the immune system, and maybe it costs 1 calorie per generation of an immune cell. So maybe you send 1,000 calories to the immune system, and now all of a sudden your immune system creates 1,000 new cells. Maybe your digestive system, maybe the gut lining needs some new cells. So your body decides, instead of putting it into the fat cell, guess what? You're gonna go over and you're the bonus, you're gonna go to the digestive system, you're gonna go specifically to the gut wall, and you're gonna make 1,000 new gut cells. So in other words, there are lots of different ways that your energy, your excess energy, can be allocated, right? It can go to all the different systems in the body. Like there are ways of dealing with an excess. So every time we eat too much food, or what we think is too much food based on the math, the calories in, calories out, it does not mean that you're going to get fatter. In fact, you might be more energetic, you might be sharper, you might be more healthful, you might feel better. Everything is going to get better when you're in an abundance and you're healthy. Okay. Now let's take a look at it the other way. So what does it mean if you've gained a bunch of body fat? Like what if you're someone that you seems like everything that you put into your face goes right to your belly, goes right to your fat cells. It's almost like the front door of the fat cell is busted open, stuff is dumping into there, and the back door never opens up. Now, I would say that that is an unhealthy person. Something has gone wrong. The messaging, the signals have gone wrong, right? There's not a signal being sent to the back door, but the signal is constant to keep the front door open. And what are these signals? These signals are really hormones, right? And there's lots of different hormones in the body, more than I even know about, right? There's so many different hormones, but we do know that it requires a signal, and it's a different signal to open the front door compared to the back door. Again, when you're healthy, it manages your fat cell size by opening front, opening back, opening front, opening back. And it just keeps the cell at sort of a normal, healthy level. It never gets too big, it never gets too small. And if it does, it has the ability to open those doors to regulate the size of that fat cell, right? So if you're overweight, we need to figure out what caused the signals to get messed up at your fat cell level. What messed up the hormones? What messed up the connection to the front door and to the back door, right? And generally speaking, and I think most people would agree, most experts would agree, that it's the types, primarily, it's a lot of things, but primarily it's the types of food that you're eating. If you have lived a life where you eat a lot of really bad foods, you eat a lot of junk, you eat a lot of crap, a lot of processed, refined garbage, there's a really good chance that you're gonna break that system. And if that system breaks, the fat storage system breaks, then your fat cells become what I call greedy fat cells. The back door gets welded shut, can't open it, and then the front door just gets busted wide open, and your fat cells are like, hey, anything you got, we'll take it, right? And if all of the energy is getting flooded into these fat cells, every time you eat a meal, a lot of those calories might be going into your fat cells. So even if you're at a calorie deficit, you may still be getting fatter because the door's wide open, right? And if let's say you're on a diet and you're only eating 1,000 calories a day and your fat cell is busted wide open and 300 of those calories go into the fat cell, then all of the other systems of your body only have 700 calories to survive. So what happens to your energy levels? What happens to your health? What happens to just your mood, the way that you feel, your mental acuity? All those things go down because it's like you're starving, but you're still getting fatter, right? So again, just to sort of reiterate, to simplify the whole idea of weight loss, specifically when it comes to body fat, when we're just trying to simplify the whole thing as calories in, calories out at the face, it's really not that simple. You have to to be fatter, you have to put the stuff into the fat cell. To be skinnier, you have to take stuff out. And we need to make sure that your system is healthy enough to be able to send the right signals to the front door and to the back door of that fat cell to say, hey, fat cell, you don't need to grow anymore. Shut the front door, open the back door, use some of that stuff for energy so that you can start to get leaner and you can start to re-energize yourself. You can start to utilize the energy, the food that you're putting in your body to go to the other systems so that you can feel great and you can perform better and you can feel better, and everything just gets better when your body is in abundance rather than in scarcity. So sometimes dieting and cutting calories is the worst thing you can do. I'll tell you what the best thing to do is: start eating some really quality food. Get away from the junk food. If you are someone who gains weight really easily, you need to get away from the processed refined stuff. That's the stuff that can break you. That's the stuff that will send you off of the metabolic cliff and get that door busted wide open and never let anything out.